It's Tuesday. What was that? The hell was that? Oh, man. Give me the bag. You hearing an echo?
No, I hear you sound good.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, shit. Oh, okay, I got it. All right. Everything's good. I had to mute the video. I'm trying to watch the video while we're doing it so I can look at the comments. It's Tuesday. Jimmy the Bag. Everyone knows what that is. Loshak in the Bag Show, MLB 2021. Today's August 17th. The grind continues. Jimmy the Bag, I don't pay close attention day in and day out to how you and the gang are doing, Jose and everyone, mostly because I just assume that you're going to have your ups and downs, but overall, you're going to continue to go vaguely up week in and week out. Is that not what's happened to you recently?
You know, the group as a whole are doing well, and Jose's coming off a 3-in-1 day. I'm coming off another bad week, I'm fucking angry, and I'm firing shots, and I'm not going to hesitate, and I have 6 bets in right now, and I want to attack this fucking card, and I want to stack winners. My season-long numbers are taking a beating. My ROI is now plus 1.15%. I'm only up 5.35 units on the year.
Okay.
I'm now down since the All-Star break, and I'm not going to fucking have it, Pete.
Yeah, this time of year, there tends to be a lot of, big, huge favorites with value, but a lot of times either way, huge favorite games where the favorite is, minus 230, 240, 250, and clearly it's a great bet. I had a bunch of winners like that yesterday. Then there's also some, a lot of times there's big underdogs, huge underdogs like KC, Texas, a lot of these scrappy teams that can get undervalued. So it can be very rewarding. Also very treacherous. Jimmy the Bag, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about today's card, only because I had a huge day yesterday, huge winning day yesterday. And anytime I have a huge winning Monday, the next Tuesday and usually Wednesday, I usually take it a little bit easy. A lot of times they're kind of middling days. Also, I'm a little bit tired right now, a little bit behind in my research because last night I had my face buried in this chick's twat, and so I'm, taking it easy right now. A few plays that I made, a few bets that I made, but again, there's a bunch of huge favorites. Not exactly sure which way I want to pull the trigger on Jimmy the Bag, but huge shout out to the comment section, right? They've been doing as great as ever. How's Jose been doing? How's the Taint play been doing and all that?
Taint, Jose, both been doing strong. Sorry, where was your head buried?
Buried in this chick's twat. I've also been watching some old Andrew Dice Clay videos. I know, totally, whatever you say. Apps. I mean, you can just get canceled nowadays just by acknowledging that you know who Andrew Dice Clay is. But look, I know who he is. I've been watching some of his videos recently, and I've been imitating to myself in my house. So that's another thing that's taken up a little bit of my time that I should have spent handicapping this card. But I think it'll be okay. It's just another tricky card. A lot of huge favorites, Well,
I'm not going to hesitate. My last Tuesdays have been abysmal. My last 2 Tuesdays with you have been absolutely abysmal. I've got 6 bets locked in right now. A huge market swing towards the Blue Jays. I didn't even get it at the best spot, but I did. Even by the time I did a Rob Mike Richards radio show in Toronto here this morning, at 7:45. So we're talking just 3 hours and 20 minutes ago. It's moved 80 cents. At Sports Interaction. It's just a huge swing towards the Blue Jays. I want to attack this card, Pete, and I want to not hesitate. I want to fire some shots here. I want to give a big shout out, just like our man Pete did, to all of the low baggers in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you for joining us for a video. Sammy Culmer with the Reds first 5 minus a half minus 115, his play of the day. Very interesting spot there against Hendricks. I have not moved on that game. Schnizzle. Rays team total over 4.5 and Giants -1. I'm also on the Giants -1. I took that last night. Razor sharp picks in the house. By the way, we're going all day and all night on Saturday with horse racing, starting at Saratoga. Attack the whole Saratoga card. Got the grade 1 Alabama in there. Then we move on to Del Mar, $1 Million Pacific Classic. We'll be hammering it all day, and Razor sharp picks will be on all day along with us. There's Sean Higgs in the house.
Hell yeah.
Ready to get to work. Marlon Z, love capping with you. The infectious energy, such an enjoyable guy to be around. There he is in the house. Clint started Die Hard MMA podcast. We got Maddie Ice, Red Girl, Larry Garr, Professor Chris, What a great group. Matty Ice says Tuesdays are quickly becoming my favorite day. Love Pete and Jimmy. There's Nut Flush Allen. CT Bays. God, CT Bays is such a sharp capper. We have so many great cappers in the chat. Mike M, Mark Schillingberg, and it is Slick Rick in the house. All right, time to get to work. Morgan Spooner.
Yeah.
I have heard that the Rusty Kuntz play of the day is already in. I've heard that he's already. Oh, by the way, here's another capper to keep an eye on. TJ now 9-1 with his plays of the day here on the show. Donald still ready to go, and there's TJ's numbers: +8 units, ROI 80% right now, and -108.
Hey, before we go over today's card, do you want to go over just like 2 minutes, just a quick review of yesterday's card to think about how some of the teams are doing to shed a little bit of light on what we're going to look at today? Because I thought yesterday was a very interesting card. There's some teams that are just starting to look like a great fade game in and game out. Baltimore, the Cubs, like who else? Let me see. Baltimore, the Cubs, Pittsburgh as well. But then there's other teams that suck that aren't really, like KC and Texas. There are these teams that are sort of gritty and running the base paths, getting a lot of stolen bases, and those are the teams that I'm a lot more nervous fading game in and game out as a big underdog. You know what I mean, Jimmy the Bag?
Very important. Very important. Let's go over that. Just want to give a shout out to Rusty Kuntz, who's already in. Rusty Kuntz play of the day is already in. It is the Blue Jays -1.5. Mm-hmm. I'm on that as well. Against Fetty. Blue Jays -1.5. So just wanted to get that up and add. And Rusty Kuntz is in. Pete, I'll tell you, there's been a couple things that I've done differently this year and had more success this year. No, I'm sitting here just 5.35 units up. Mm-hmm. But one thing Gas Station said was, now I know that can change near the end of the season, or at least in the final quarter of the season. But he said that there's no momentum in baseball. When I started. And like Pete Rose says, you have to bet streaks. Focus only on streaks. Bet streaks. Gas says there's no momentum in baseball. I stopped. I started attacking each game as it's an individual entity. Only travel was the only thing that I would look at from the day prior, not the score of any game. And that's been working for me.
Yes. But, momentum. It depends on your momentum. All these sports betting terms, momentum, luck. It all matters how you define it. Like love and God. All these words are very, very tough to define. I guess based on how he would define it, I would agree with that. But there are definitely spots. There might not be momentum, but there are definitely spots. Exhibit A. Yesterday, San Francisco Mets. One of the reasons I want to, illustrate yesterday's card. It was a terrible spot for the Mets, right? They had gotten on the plane late. They had to travel all the way across country. Obviously, it didn't hurt that San Francisco is an elite team this year. The game was actually a lot closer than I thought. I was huge on San Francisco -1. Of course, they did win, but it was just 7-5. So, I don't know if maybe I would agree with that statement about momentum, depending on how he would define it. But I would definitely disagree if he says that there aren't spots, or there aren't situational spots in all sports and baseball as well. The Mets were in a terrible spot yesterday. That was a big bet for me. And then, I guess I would agree that there's no such thing as momentum, but there definitely is such a thing as just sucking complete ass. And that's something that continues day in and day out, like Baltimore, like the Cubs. If you sucked ass for the last 2 weeks in a row, you're going to suck ass again today if you've got the exact same roster. You know what I mean, Jimmy the Bag?
I do. I absolutely know what you mean. Know what you mean. And again, your spot with the Mets was predicated on heavily on travel as well, not necessarily on Mets playing bad baseball, even though they're obviously struggling. I agree with you completely, and I can't wait to attack this card because I'm not going to hold back at all, Mr. Loshak. I'm going to fire away. Let's start with the doubleheader, Pete. 1:05 p.m. Eastern, Game 1. Boston Red Sox at New York Yankees. We're at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. I want to confirm that I have the right starting pitchers for this first game. Houck and Montgomery. I do. Tanner Houck, Jordan Montgomery. First off, Red Sox 32-27 on the road, 18 games over 500. Yankees 66-52, 33-25 at home, just 8 games over 500 at home. And we're in the Bronx, 81 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 10 miles per hour sideways right across the diamond. And the Red Sox bullpen is now exactly what I expected them to be in the beginning of the year. I was shocked that their bullpen was so strong. I clearly had miscalculated the Red Sox and Mariners bullpens off the beginning of the year. And the Red Sox bullpen is now what I expected them to be, and I believe will keep them out of the playoffs at this point. Red Sox versus lefties, 281, 799 OPS. They're smashing them. Yankees numbers versus righties last 30 days, and these are 30 days numbers, 231, 726 OPS, which actually is an improvement how poorly they were against righties. We have Houck, who's yet to register his first major league win, 0-3, but 2.93 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, has 44 Ks in 30 and 2/3, just 7 walks, incredible K to walk ratio, only 2 home runs allowed in 30 and 2/3. He's been excellent. Coming off an 8-1 loss at home versus the Rays, it was his toughest start yet. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 8 Ks, 0 walks. Going up against Montgomery, who's coming off a nice start against the Marlins at Miami. That's not saying a ton, but 3.69 ERA, 1.19 WHIP on the year. And he has interesting home road splits, much better at home. 2-3, 3.14 ERA, 215 opponents batting average in comparison to that 2-2, 4.14, 252 opponents batting average on the road. Red Sox bullpen, last 30 days, 5.44 ERA, 1.49 WHIP. Yankees bullpen, 3.40 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Let's set a table for Pete and hear how he breaks down game one of the double dip between Yankees, Red Sox. We have, I got to fix my opener, but basically we're sitting anywhere between minus 115 and minus 121 with a total in the 7-inning double dip of 7. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, this is this is a tough one. I haven't bet it yet. Obviously, the lines recently came out. Both Houck and Montgomery are not bad getting Ks. My first thought would be maybe a shot with the under, although that definitely scares me with these lineups involved. But thinking about the under, game 2 is very interesting with Gill. Gill has a great fastball, but he in the minors showed some issues with control that haven't reared their head yet in the majors, but they very likely will. So, I might be looking at Boston in game 2. As of right now, obviously the lines weren't out on the overnight, so I don't have a real strong feel on it. Haven't bet either of these games yet. I guess I would say vague lean to the under in game 1 and maybe vague lean to Boston in game 2 or the first 5 Boston in game 2. Although Eovaldi is definitely, for whatever reason this year, struggling on the road. So I don't necessarily love that either.
Yeah, he is. And I'll go over those numbers here in a second. We got the Blue Balls play of the day in. Here we go. I think your look on the under is, or your
game 1 only.
It's game 1 under, was it right?
Game 1 only. Yeah, not game 2. Just
yes,
game 1.
Of course. Yeah, game 1. I think that look is makes sense to me. I'm just going to pop this in here. And we have
out for game 1, and all the usual suspects are all in, which is not great. I would have liked to have seen someone sitting. I'm scanning the lineups right now, not really seeing anyone sitting. Yeah, but definitely a lean to the under in game 1, even at 7. Both these starters are pretty reliable according to my numbers, and my numbers like the under at 7 a little bit.
Yeah, and that opened up the under at plus 102 at Pinnacle. It's now minus 103, so a 5-cent move towards the under. There's Unc Oliver, Puzzler, Pimp Slap play of the day. The Pimp Slap play of the day from Mike M is the under 7 in game 1.
Yeah, really? Okay, I am now looking at. I have the video going on a different window. Hopefully, it won't mess up my feed here. But I am scanning the comments now as we're doing this show. Very valuable comments. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about game 2 before we move on here. Pete spoke about Eovaldi's home road splits at home, 6-3, 3.24 ERA, opponents hitting 239 off him. On the road, 4-4, 5.17 ERA, 278 opponents batting average. Coming off a great start at home versus the Rays. And then we have Luis Gil, who's yet to allow a run in 11 innings this year, 14 Ks and 3 walks for the 23-year-old fireballer. And he's coming off a nice start at home versus the Mariners. Third start of his career, third start at home, and a tough lineup. Tough lineup he's going up against.
Yeah, I mean Gil will regress. I think not that he doesn't have electric stuff, and he's got a big upside, but I think before he becomes an elite pitcher, he will have some issues with control and command. He doesn't have great command on his slider right now, and when teams start to figure out a little bit more what he does, he tries to steal strikes early in the count with his slider, and then get him out with his awesome fastball. It'll be a little bit of a cat and mouse game where they will catch up with him a little bit. So I'm not down on Gil long term. But short term, I think he'll regress a little bit.
And baseball data here, just a quick look at the pitchers versus the lineups. Against Houck, 136, 478 OPS, just 3 for 22. Against Montgomery, 245 with a 639 OPS. Wow. And then in game 2, you have against Eovaldi, 250 with a 624 OPS. And the Red Sox haven't seen Gil. Wow, very, very, very interesting. There's Sabino Anguano, Siobhan Town, Kev Riley coming off a big day, Robert Allen in the house, Taj ready to go, Big Daddy Boom says leaning under in this game. I think you're right about this, about your lean towards this first game under early start. I am close to pulling the trigger in game 1 under 7. Leave a couple question marks there, and then we'll decide how to handle game 2. At this point, no official plays for you, Pete?
No, but I'm checking right now to see if any first fives are are out, because I would definitely prefer like a first 5 under 5 than the full game under 7. But no, I'm not seeing any first 5 totals either. But I might take, if I can get 5, I might take a shot with that. In fact, I almost certainly will.
All right, let's go. We move on to all the rest of the games are single game, 9-inning games. We start at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 63-54, 32-30 on the road at the Nationals, 15-68, 29-33 at home. Rusty Kuntz play today is the Jays -1.5. I got the Jays -1.5 at -120, and it was available this morning at the same price. Nothing really moved overnight, but there's been a huge move since. We're at Nationals ballpark in Washington, D.C., 81 Fahrenheit. It's humid, overcast, 5 miles per hour, sideways out to the left field pole. Alek Manoah versus Eric Fedde, and Manoah has been excellent. He's just a tough bulldog, full of character on the mound, and he's becoming a fan favorite so quickly here in the 6th. 5-1, 2.59 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 59 innings, 71 Ks, 21 walks, 8 home runs allowed. Last start, 10-2 win at the Angels, 11 strikeouts for the rookie, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned run, 1 homer. Fedde had a really nice run early in the year, and he's fallen completely off. He looks bad. He's coming off an okay start at the Mets, though, in a 7-inning doubleheader, 4 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks. On the year, he's got a 1.42 WHIP, 91 in the 3rd. Over the last 30 days, the Blue Jays versus righties, 260, 787 OPS. The Nationals had been hitting righties hard in our 30-day stats for a while, but the exodus at the trade deadline is now starting to rear its ugly head. 258, 735 OPS. Blue Jays bullpen not being strong, 4.13 ERA, 1.29 WHIP over the last 30 days, but Nats bullpen atrocious, 5.86 ERA, 1.46 WHIP. They did not give a first 5 alternate line on Bet365, which makes me think they're afraid of it because there's other games that they did. So let's go to this spot here. This total at 9.5, opening up at -101, at Pinnacle now plus 103, so a 4-cent move towards the under. And the money line at Pinnacle has moved from -175 to -191, 16 cents. Wow. I wonder if, let me just take a look at this yes, it's come back. So interesting. So the Jays got up to -208 as of 8:30 this morning, 208 or 8:55 this morning. And now we see back to -191. So money coming back in on the Nats. Is there a move for you here in this spot? You're cutting out a little bit here, Pete. Why don't we just give it a second for it to lock back in here?
All right, maybe I should.
Okay, you're back in action.
Yeah, it's just because I'm trying to watch the show at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a believer, obviously, in Toronto in most spots. I've been betting them most games recently. A believer in Manoah. I've been betting him as well. Washington, though, is a little bit like Pittsburgh. I think twice about betting a big road favorite at Washington. I did the same thing with Pittsburgh. It's not nearly in the same degree or in the same class where I'm like sort of automatically thinking about betting Pittsburgh no matter what as a home dog of 160 or higher or something like that. And Fedde is obviously pretty vulnerable overall, but I still think he's capable of being okay, reliably at home going forward, and I kind of like the under a little bit here, or a lot. And I did bet it, but I don't know if I want to give it as an official play. Anyone who's jumping all over Toronto -1 or -1.5, I hope you cash, because I haven't bet the side yet. And I don't think I'm going to wind up pulling the trigger on Washington, because they are, legitimate. They're legit shit right now. But along with the Orioles and the Cubs, I do like the under, though.
And Noli knows. The legend of unders also on the under 9.5. Against Fetty, the Jays are hitting .292 with a .995 OPS, 7 for 24, but 4 of those hits for extra bases, 2 doubles, 2 homers. And the Nats haven't seen Manoah. Let's just check out where the cash lies, because it's interesting to see this move back towards the Nationals here. Let's go. So 4,917 tickets in, 79% of the money line tickets on the Jays. And look at this. This is just crazy. Wild. So,
everyone's in the Jays, huh?
No, 64% of the money line cash on the Washington Nationals.
Really?
And so that has to be why this big move back to the Nats.
I can understand why everyone wants to be all over just a fade of Fetty here. But, it's a little bit of a tricky bark. Fetty is subpar, but at home, not necessarily incapable of decent starts here and there.
That's wild. So clearly a huge bet was made on the Nats that stopped that cavalcade of cash coming in on the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays did just fly from Seattle to Washington, which is not easy. Wow, I'm shocked at those numbers. Let's just take a look at what the totals hold for us with 4,917 tickets in, 54% of tickets on the over, 53% of cash on the over. We've seen a slight move towards the under. Pete made a move on it earlier. Is he going to make it a bit?
I don't love, giving out a public play on a okay. Am I echoing? The fuck, man?
No, you're good.
Am I okay?
Yep.
I don't love giving out a public. Maybe that was a sign to not give this play out, but I'll make it an official play. Under 9.5 -115. I'm seeing right now at a bunch of places.
All right, Pete is in under 9.5. At -115 for Pete. All right. Very, very, very interesting. So clearly a huge bet stemmed the tide there. Okay, there you have it. Rusty Kuntz -1.5. I'm on the Blue Jays -1.5 at -120. Very, very interesting. We move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. And the only way that Ron Crawford's spreadsheet plays of the day could get stopped was by a postponement by the Brewers on Friday. And then he added the Blue Jays late. And I retweeted it, and that was his new spreadsheet play of the day, and the Jays lost. So that's the only way we found, and now he's sitting at 11-4 on the year, and he is on the Detroit Tigers. He's on the Detroit Tigers in this spot. Dylan Bundy versus Casey Mize. Not only that, Pete, but our man Jose Seje play today, coming off a 3-1 week. He needs to go 3-1 every week. He went the first week. He's got to go 3-1 again this week and 3-1 again next week. He's got to go 6-2 over these last 8 bets for him to shave his mustache and not lose his job. That's what it comes to. That's what it comes to.
I think if you make the carrot
We've lost you. We've lost you, Pete. It sounded very exciting. Whatever you were about to say sounded extremely. Okay, you're back. What were you going to say?
I'm plugged in. The wire's plugged in, so I don't know what the hell is going on.
Carrot? What's going on with the carrot? The carrot?
I'm just saying, if he's motivated by a pompadour, by an awesome elite haircutting place pompadour, maybe that would be enough to get him to really bear down and concentrate and do what it takes to go 6-2 over his next 8 picks.
I believe in the young man. Not when I see this picture. But when I see this picture, I believe in him. Please welcome to the show our producer, the man on the 1s and 2s, Jose Seje play of the day, coming at you, Angels, Tigers. Jose, how are you?
I'm actually doing well. I'm actually doing really well. Pete, I'm glad that you enjoy my hair today.
Oh, yeah.
It's doing its thing today. I got to
stay focused.
You're right. Sorry. But I'm doing well.
Good. And wipe that sly grin off your face. We need you as serious as possible here, Jose. That's what's brought you success, your seriousness on the show. Comerica Park, Detroit, Michigan is where Jose sees his say, hey, play the day today. 80 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour in. Sean Thompson is on the Angels today. Bundy, Casey Mize. Bundy's last start at home versus a very tough J squad. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 0 walks, 2 Ks, and a 10-2 loss. 2-9, 6.17 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. I've always found him a tricky pitcher to figure out because he either shits the bed or he's untouchable. 19 home runs in 84 and 2/3. Going up against Casey Mize, who's not looked as good of late. 4 1/3 last out, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and a 9-4 win at the Orioles. Both teams aren't hitting righties right now. Last 30 days, Angels 226, 634 OPS, Tigers 231, 699 OPS, and Tigers bullpen has been spectacular of late. Angels bullpen struggling as they have all season long. Jose, take it away. What's your plan here to keep your job?
Yes, Jimmy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really think of the future of what I have to do for these bets to actually be able to shave my mustache. And when you remind me that I have to go 3-1 these next 2 weeks, it shakes me a little bit.
Sure.
But then I remember how awesome last week was.
Yeah.
We were hitting left and right. I hit my local for the most amount of money I've hit them ever in a week.
Okay.
That felt great. Yes, that felt really good. I put that money in my account. That was lovely. And I looked at the lines last night, Jimmy, and I did a Jimmy. I pulled a U, and I hit some early action.
I like it.
I looked at Detroit's first 5, and at Pinnacle, our friends at Pinnacle, I saw it at plus 111. I thought that was crazy. I woke up today, minus 106. Currently, I have it at minus 106 on Pinnacle. I'm going that way. I'll take the line right now, too. Even it's a good price still, honestly. I think Casey Mize does his thing. I understand that Dylan Bundy has had success against these guys. He's had a start this year, 4 innings of 1-run ball game, only 2 Ks, 3 walks, and 4 hits. But I think he gets touched up today. Dylan Bundy, as we all know, has not been the same pitcher that he was last year. He followed that good start with an at New York 1 1/3 innings pitched, and has gone to the bullpen, has come in and out. But I just don't think he's got it anymore. Honestly, I think he's just a washed up pitcher. I think Detroit's bats can get to him. So give me a cheap first 5 price on Casey Mize, who I know you, Jimmy, you're a fan of. I'm also a fan of as well. I'll just take the minus 106 and ride with the Tigers.
Why do you think the Tigers at home first 5 opened as a dog, Jose?
I'm not sure, but the even crazier part about this, Jimmy, is something I forgot to mention that I just remembered now. These Angels have been flying fucking everywhere in these last couple of days. So let's take this back. The 15th, they beat the Astros at home. They have to fly all the way to New York to play a game yesterday, a makeup game from some rain out. They lose that game, so then now they have to fly to Detroit last night / today. I'm betting on these guys being fucking gassed. The bats won't be there, I think. So I think all of these things combined has turned into the Tigers hopefully winning this game. And I truly don't know why they were dogs. It might be Dylan Bundy's past success. If you look on like Baseball Savant, you'll see that he has like a 2.31 FIP against these guys. But it's 4 guys really, and it's really Robbie Grossman. 18 at bats, 3 Ks. He has 2 doubles in there. Jonathan Scope, he's got 7 at bats, and he's only got 2 hits. But it's really like no one in this lineup that I would be concerned about is touched by Miguel, by Bundy. And honestly, I watch all these Tigers games now just to watch Miguel Cabrera's 500th home run. I think he gets it tonight too.
So are you on Tigers first 5 or are you on team total over for the Tigers?
I'm on the Tigers first 5 minus a half.
Minus a half. Okay. So that's so I apologize for saying that they were initially dogs, just a dog line on the -0.5. That was my mistake there. Tigers first 5 -0.5 at -106. Pete Loshak, what do you think of Jose's look here on the Detroit Tigers first 5 -0.5?
Well, I have some conflicting. My numbers like the Tigers here, but they also are very down on Mize. And as someone pointed out earlier, Bundy, he doesn't have good numbers at night and on the road. It's my numbers like, and you said that the spreadsheet play is Detroit from Ron Crawford.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that weighs very heavily on me. My numbers like Detroit as well, but they don't like Mize. I haven't bet this one. This is a classic game where I'm going to, look into a little bit more and maybe pull the trigger close to first pitch. But as of right now, I can't give it as an official play. Bundy definitely seems vulnerable. My numbers indicate that he's vulnerable. My numbers are very down on Mize right now, short term, but they like Detroit in this spot in general. So pass for me.
These Angels are 6 for 10, very small sample size, but 6 for 10 with a double and a homer against Mize. While Bundy's great numbers, as Jose mentioned, against these Tigers, 7 for 38. Wow. They're hitting 184 with a 488 OPS, and again to the huge advantage in the bullpen, seemingly with the Tigers and the Tigers at home. I would think that a full game might be more appealing than a first 5. But Jose has moved first 5 -0.5 on the Tigers. I'm uncomfortable with the way Mize has looked of late. Let's take a look and see where the cash is. 3,820 tickets in. Oh, please.
I was going to say, I would definitely, if I was going to take Detroit, definitely it would be full game, not first 5.
I agree. I think that you have to take advantage of the bullpen. 78% of the money line tickets on Detroit, 84% of the cash. Then we have 56% of the tickets on the under, and just 28% of the cash.
And Turnsy 66. I love the Tigers today as well. I'm just quoting some comments here. Taj Lang Bailey says Tigers first 5. A lot of people like in the first 5. Cray OK like in the over. That makes some sense to me as well. Kevin Riley looks like he's liking Detroit as well. God, everyone's liking everyone's liking Detroit here, including Ron Crawford, right? Turnsy loves them, posting over and over again how much he loves the Tigers here. Repeated posting.
And it's Sean Thompson, the lone man on the other side, the contrarian look on the Angels. Very, very interesting. Crystal Warren saying Bundy and Angels. Bullpen equals runs. And there's Kobe Valentine joining us.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Kobe.
Oh, we've lost Pete there in his excitement. He freaked out.
Yeah.
And we lost him. But
I would be excited too.
Great to see Kobe. Great to see Kobe.
Awesome comments. TJ says, God, if Jimmy wasn't on the show, I would have thought the homeless shelter got some free laptops. Nice. Nice.
The Wi-Fi matches.
And Turnsy, with a non-baseball comment, a joke. Jose and Pete look like a Zoom meeting from prison. Nice.
Right. Okay, great stuff. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today. Tigers. Jose on the Tigers first 5 -0.5 and -106, putting the fate of his job on Casey Mize, because he says he's going to shave the stash, so won't be on our show if he does, unless he's in the black.
Well, we've got some special stuff cooking, so don't you worry about it, Jimmy.
I'm very concerned. I am extremely.
It's going to be a great day.
There he is, Jose Sehe, play of the day. Tigers first 5 -0.5, -106. I'm on neither right now. Let's go. Daily dose of kale, says Pete. Let's make a head-to-head bet, and loser does push-ups on camera. That's what he wants.
And Ron Crawford. What's that? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, isn't it the best stat that Ron Crawford gave us this a couple weeks ago, and it keeps cashing and cashing?
Ron Crawford. Shout out to Ron Crawford. Crystal Warren. All right. I hope you guys all cash. Yeah, this is a classic example. I might wind up being on Detroit close to first pitch. I just can't give it as an official play right now.
And Ron Crawford, again, that stat he gave us was teams under 500 as a favorite in August, 35-9.
And there's Robert Allen saying he likes the Angels, which I can certainly understand. And if I wanted the Angels, I think I would definitely take them first 5.
Here we go. We move on. There are 2 pitchers starting at home that I want and I bet on. One is Sandy Alcantara, and I know there was a huge move toward the Braves full game. I let it affect me. Until about 2 hours ago, and I was like, look, I have to back Alcantara. I have to back Herman Marquez at home. I have to back them both. And I know that Huascar Ynoa has put up nice numbers, but we'll get to his home road splits here in a second. I'm on Marlins first 5. It opened at plus 110. It went down to at my book. It went down to plus 105. I moved on at plus 105. So while the market was moving towards the Braves full game, it was moving towards the Marlins first 5. Braves, Marlins next up, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Braves 63-56, 32-27 on the road at the Marlins, 51-68, 30-28 at home. Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. I expect the roof to be closed. Huascar Ynoa, 4-2, 3.02 ERA, 1.05 WHIP, 50 Ks, 44 2/3, 11 walks, 7 home runs. He's been very good this year. Last start at Milwaukee, he got touched. And that's something that happens to this young man on the road. 4 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a 10-9 loss to the Brewers. At home, he's lights out. 3-0, 1.54 ERA, 157 opponent's batting average. On the road, 1-2, 4.64 ERA, 274 opponent's batting average. Ron Crawford taking a break from work to give us his sides and his looks, and he sent me this whole list. And we thank you so much, Ron, for working so hard for our success. It means so much to us. So thank you, Ron. Noli Knows is on the first 5 under 4 here. Taj is on the Braves first 5. Sean Thompson's on the Braves. Creo says Braves averaged almost 7 runs a game their last 9 on the road. Less than 3 scored against in their last on the road. And Robert Allen is on the over. So I think that Alcantara, I used to call him Alcantara. Alcantara, last start, 7 innings, 4 hits, no 1 runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and a 7-0 win at the Padres. That was a spot where C.T. Bays was so heavy on him, and I was hesitant because of that terrible start he'd had in Colorado, and I wish I hadn't. But at home, 1-4, but a 2.58 ERA, 195 opponent's batting average. Yeah, the Braves are smashing righties, and the Marlins aren't. And the Braves bullpen's been very good, and the Marlins hasn't. But right now, I think that I'm getting an advantage with Alcantara at home. Let's give the market to Pete and watch him roll with this game. Here we go. We move back to full game money lines and totals, and let's hook Pete up here. We have the Fish at home versus the Braves. This total opened up at 8. It's now at 7.5. And the Marlins opened up as tiny, slight favorites and became dogs, but now money's coming back in on the Fish. So it got up to minus 128 at 7:37 a.m. and at 9 a.m. And it's down to minus 118. And I agree with that movement. But I don't want a full game, just first 5 for me. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is tough. Atlanta is definitely the real deal, and Miami is definitely, a scrappy kind of team that I love to bet, especially at home when they're plus 150, plus 114, a little bit different. And Inoue is, all of his starts, he last pitched in May, so that was before the crackdown. So you have to, at least think about that as well. I think if people like Miami here, it's an assumption that that Sandy is going to have another strong start. And in that case, I'd probably be liking the Atlanta team total under. If it was 2.5, I'd be on it, but I'm just seeing 1.5 at plus money, which is something that I would also be thinking about taking anyway. In my personal betting, I do take a lot of team total unders at 1.5 at plus money, but that's it makes me very nervous and uncomfortable to give those as public plays, but I'd be leaning that way anyway. I think he's probably going to have, or at least I have no reason to believe that he won't have a decent start here. My numbers like him. Atlanta's the real deal, but I think that Sandy will have a good start here.
I do too. They hit 253 with a 723 OPS against Sandy, and the Freddie Freeman 4 for 15 against him with a double. I like seeing that, and then Duvall 0 for 4, Riley 0 for 8. Soler 0 for 3. So Dansby Swanson gets to him at 4 for 8, or 4 for 10, excuse me. Albie 7 for 18. But I'm pretty comfortable with the situation. Now, for the Marlins, only 5 Marlins have seen him. They're 4 for 14 against them. We go to the cash flow in this game here and see if everything kind of makes sense. 3,341 tickets in. 71% of the tickets on the Braves, 64% of the cash. 64% of cash, so that number's gone down. And then we have 26% of the tickets on the under, just 26, but 60% of the cash on the under. I like this spot. I think Alcantara is in a nice spot to pitch very, very well here.
Look at this. Go ahead.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Go. What?
That's it. I'm on it. I'm on Alcantara first 5. I got plus 105, and I'm comfortable.
Yeah, Noli knows likes the first 5 under, which was also something that I was thinking about. A lot of disagreement here. Creo K says Braves definitely. Johnny K likes Marlins. Sterling Gentry likes the Braves money line. So a lot of back and forth here. Seems like more people are liking the Braves, and I would be leaning first 5 under as well. Sean Thompson, Alcantara doesn't scare me. Braves get there late. Yeah, I would definitely prefer to have Miami first 5. All right, I'm leaning first 5 under, and Braves first 5 team total under as well, but can't pull the trigger on it right now.
And our man Jeff Slaughter said, time for another random pub sports giveaway. Smash the like, fellas, because if this video gets to 175 likes, we will pick 3 winners from the chat to send $50. $50 coming to you from Pub Sports Radio for just hitting the like button. Much love to you, Jeff Slaughter. Love working for the man. All right, we move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. And look, I came so close to making 2 bets. My palms just started leaking as I talked about it, and I held back. And unfortunately, I gave the first 5 under 4.5 in the next game out on a radio show with the Sports Interaction price. And then when I dug deeper, I didn't bet it. And I wanted just to talk that with you guys before I made a move. And 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Orioles at Tampa Bay Rays. Orioles 38-79, 21-42 on the road. Rays 72-47, 36-22 at home. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. We have John Means going up against Drew Rasmussen. And Drew Rasmussen is exactly why the Rays are such a spectacular franchise. While the Jays were falling apart with their bullpen, the Rays picked Rasmussen up for nothing off of the Brewers' excellent bullpen. And now they're stretching him out. And the Jays do squad as nothing. Jays are a plus 127 run differential. Plus 127. Only 4 teams in the league are better than us. We have the best run differential in our division. Why are we 8 games out of it? Just ridiculous management, roster, and Montoya on the bench. Okay, so Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida. John Means 5-4, 3.21 ERA, 0.97 WHIP, 98 innings, 87 Ks, 17 walks, 20 home runs. His last start at home versus the Tigers wasn't very good, and the Tigers have been raking lefties. The Rays don't rake lefties. The Rays hit just 237, 714 OPS versus lefties. And I looked at the first 5 for the Orioles at plus 170, and I thought, God damn, that looks enticing. And the first 5 under 4.5 looked enticing, but then I dug deeper into the baseball data, which we will go over, and some scary bats get to Means. Rasmussen's been good. Last start, 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 Ks. That was his longest outing of the year. Orioles rating just 251, 728 OPS versus righties last 30 days. Orioles bullpen last 30 days, worst in the league, 6.91 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. Rays bullpen, 2.79 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Let's hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak and see what he thinks of this spot. Let me just set him a table here. We go Baltimore at Tampa. This total opened up at 8.5. Minus 110 to the under. There's been a 1 cent move towards it. A huge move to Tampa. Huge. 57-cent move. Opens at minus 176, now minus 233. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of, everyone talks about, like, should you jump on overnight lines, on opening lines? Should you wait till, 5 minutes before first pitch? This is a perfect example of a game that I jumped on the overnight line. Tampa Bay. Not because I loved it. I did like it, but I didn't love it necessarily, but I felt extremely confident that the line would get bet significantly up by the time we were doing this show, just because of how legit awesome Tampa Bay is and how legit awful Baltimore is. And, if it hadn't happened, then fine. I would have been okay being stuck with Tampa Bay -1 at the money line of minus 190. But the reason I jumped on it on the overnight line was, again, not necessarily because I was absolutely in love with it. I just liked it, but I felt extremely confident that it would get bet up, and it did. And despite the fact that the Rays don't have a great record against lefties, and despite the fact that Means, used to be one of the lefties that I would bet, on pretty much automatically whenever he was a big dog when the Orioles were terrible and he was good. The Tampa Bay right now is just too good in so many ways. They're an incredibly well put together team, coached, general managed, and all that. And they're not one of these teams that has a 12-2 win, and then they're just kind of fade the next day. They're one of these teams that has a 12-2 win, and then they come back the next day and win 8-3 instead of like losing like a lot of teams. They're putting together impressive wins in a row. Baltimore is legitimately underclassed here. So I took Tampa Bay -1 on the overnight line, and if I hadn't done that, I'd probably still take it at the current line, despite the fact that Tampa Bay isn't that great against lefties as far as the record's concerned.
I made a terrible decision. I moved on that. Well, I gave it on the radio at the wrong time. I didn't bet it, but right when it came out of Sports Interaction, because they sponsor the show. That show, Rob Mike Richards. So under 4.5 was minus 126. It got bet down to minus 107 by 9:48 a.m. And then there was another jump at 11:19 a.m. to minus 122. It's now at minus 111. I fear I've made a blunder here. I feel like
you took the Rays team total under.
No, I took the first 5 under 4.5.
Oh, okay. I just it's defensible. That's all I have to say about that, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. We talked about the Rays not hitting lefties, but it's getting to means. Brissot 5 for 11 with 4 homers. Rosarena 3 for 7 with 2 homers. Now overall 275 with an 892 OPS. 275 with an 892 OPS. So not spectacular, but impressive. Let's go over to the cash flow. And I guess this is not on my card anymore. Or I should say anymore, but I'm not going to bet it. 22% of the money line tickets on the – oh, sorry. That was the Bundy spot. Sorry. 19% of the money line tickets on the Orioles, just 4% of the cash. And then 62% of tickets on the over, 75% of the cash. Disappointing. Very, very disappointing that I put myself in this situation. It makes me very frustrated.
I see a quote here from Crystal Warren that pretty much says it all. She says, Rays hurt crappy teams. There you go. 4 words pretty much says it all. You know, they were going up against sort of an uninspiring lefty against the White Sox or something like that. That'd be a different story. But here, yeah, they're not as great against lefties, but they're going up against Baltimore.
Well, we are going to move on to the Cubs Reds. But before we do that, let's give a big shout out to an OG low bagger, Lil E. He's watching the show with his dad, Big E. And he wants a shout out to his dad, Big E. Nobody gives shuts out better than our pistol Pete Loshak. You got a shout out to Big E for us?
Yeah, although, I'm a little bit tired because of what I was doing last night. I'm a little bit nervous and uncomfortable right now because I'm about to give Tampa Bay as an official play at a terrible line compared to what it was on the overnight line. But despite that, I'm going to barge through and give the best shout out I can to Lil E, Big E. So what's it? Big E is the dad, Lil E is the kid?
Yeah, well, not a kid.
Oh, how old is he?
Because he's been with us since he started. Lil E, since we started together. Lil E's backed us up for 4 years.
Shout out to Lil E. Shout out to Big E. Oh, man. I don't know if this might be the worst shout out I've ever given, but that's okay because maybe the flip side of that is that Tampa Bay will be a winner. But here's a huge shout out to you, Lil E. Have a great month. Have a great rest of the year. No matter what you do in sports betting, no matter which shows you watch, when you're watching the Loshak in the Bag show, may you only tail the winners and may the universe divert your eyes from the losers. Shout out to you, Lil E.
Yes, and families that cap together stay together. We say this all the time. The taint play of the day is in. Before we go over that as well, Pete, are you moving on the Rays at this line?
Oh, God. All right. Yes, I will. Because, Means is a guy who I used to bet game in and game out as a big underdog. The Rays aren't as awesome against lefties as they are against righties. We know all this. Now it's a huge line, 40 cents different from the overnight line, but I'll give it as an official play. Rays -1, have to do it. Crystal Warren said it all. Rays abuse shitty teams.
What's the money line and the run line?
I guess I'm seeing, I'll take 230 on the money line, and then I'll give you the run line right now.
All right. And Pete's going to give us the run line. The taint play of the day is in. Padres Rockies full game over 12 at -105. Padres Rockies full game over 12 at -105. We will break that down when we get to that game, but heads up, the taint play of the day is in. Rockies over 12 -105. And I may have missed, did I miss a birthday? I may have missed a birthday. Somehow I may have missed a birthday, but Kobe Valentine says he only does birthday plays when Pete and Bag are together. So Red Sox game 1 money line from Kobe Valentine. Red Sox game 1 money line from Kobe Valentine. Very, very, very interesting spot. Okay, we are going to keep moving here. And what was the run line you got, Pete?
Minus 115.
Minus 115.
And also, Lily, come back next week. I'll give you a better shout out.
Okay. All right, let's roll. Von Polo on the Rockies in that spot. I can't wait to talk about it. Let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs 52-69, 21-41 on the road at Cincinnati Reds 65-55, 32-27 at home. Jeffrey Blue balls, pick of the day is the Reds team total over 4.5, and Sammy Culmer on the Reds first 5 minus a half. With how poorly the Cubs are playing, you might have asked yourself, how can the line be so low on the Reds as favorites here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio? Let's take a look and see what that line is as we speak right now. Let me move over to full game, back to full game from first 5, and let's see what it is that we are dealing with here. We have the Reds opening up at minus 138. They're now minus 162. So money coming in on them fast and furious. But minus 138 was an interesting opening line. We've had a 24-cent move towards the Reds. This total opened up at 9 and is now at 9.5. And the issue here is that Hendricks at home has been terrible all year. On the road, 7-1, 3.13 ERA, 265 opponents batting average. Then we go over to Vladimir Gutierrez. 25-year-old Cubans had a good season. 3.95 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. The last start was great. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a 12-3 win at the Braves. Because on the road, he's 6-1 with a 2.92 ERA, opponents hitting 211 against him. In the friendly confines of Great American Ballpark, he's 2-2 with a 5.93 ERA, and opponents are hitting 303 against him. The biggest number that pops out at us before I let Pete run on this spot, Reds versus righties last 30 days, 273 with an 870 OPS. Both bullpens have been terrible. Pete, take it away. What do you think of Jeffrey Blue and Sammy Culmer both looking at the Reds?
Yeah, first of all, there's so many comments that I want to shout out, but we got to keep a brisk pace. This was one of the bets that I made on the opening line. I did take a shot with the under. Hendricks, he got crushed in his last start. That was bad weather at home. You see this all the time. A legitimately good pitcher has a terrible start in a spot that's completely forgivable, and then his next start comes back, and he's even a little bit better than you would expect. Exhibit A for that, Sandy Alcantara, right? After he got crushed at Coors, then came back, had a great start in his next one. I think that's what we're going to expect here, what we can expect here from Hendricks. Gutierrez, pitching really well. I think he's going to wear down at some point. But, that would just be trying to time it if I expected that to happen here. So my numbers like him again. So I'm not going to try to time him wearing down. I don't have any reason to do that. So I took a shot with the under 9.5. I've already bet that. I probably will make an official play. Probably be leaning Cincinnati, first 5 team total under as well. I think Hendrick will have a decent start. And so maybe the first 5 under also, maybe the Cincinnati full game team total under, and maybe the Cubs on the first 5 as a big dog. But I bet the under, and I think Hendricks will have a decent start. So I'm probably going to be on the Cincinnati first 5 team total under as well.
The Reds have gotten to Hendricks in the past, 188 at-bats against him, 56 hits, 10 of them homers. Of the 56, 22 for extra bases, 298 with a 900 OPS. Against Vladimir Gutierrez, just 16 at-bats against him, but 5 hits, including 2 doubles and a homer, 312 with a 1.075 OPS. Let's move over to the cash flow and see what we are looking at. 5,926 tickets in, a nice sample size. 81% of the tickets on the Reds, 91% of the cash on the Reds, then 58% of the tickets on the under, and 86% of the cash on the under. Very, very interesting.
So many great comments that I would love to shout out, but I'll make to start Cincinnati team first 5 team total under an official play. That'll be 2.5 minus 110. Cincinnati first 5 team total under 2.5 minus 110. If they get to Hendricks for 3, fine. I took a shot and it lost, but I'm on that one.
First 5 team total under 2.5 at minus 110. Now, will you be moving on first 5 or full game, or do you want to continue thinking about it?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like. Someone made a comment about how the Cubs bullpen is atrocious, which is true. In general, they're a team that I'm looking to fade game in and game out. This is a spot where I'd be looking to bet on them, but not enthusiastically. So and I'd definitely be leaning. If I'm going to bet them, which I probably will, it'll be on the first 5, not on the full game. So I'm definitely leaning full game under, and I'm definitely leaning Cubs first 5 as well. as a big dog.
Larry Garr says Cubs bullpen atrocious.
Yep.
Crystal Warren says Reds put some runs on Hendricks last game. Creo says Reds are smashing, man, but first 5 is a sketch. Johnny K on the Reds team total over. Robert Allen says the Cubs are finally going to win today. I feel it. Yeah, I said it, so kill me. Viper MB says the total's gone over the total's gone over in 4 of Chicago's last 5 games when playing Cincinnati. And LJ from H-Town says Cubs have allowed 74 total runs in the last 7 games. That's ridiculous. He's on the Reds -1.5. Robert Allen giving us a final score. Cubs 7, Reds 6. Colby Valentine says Cincinnati 35-18 in their division. Deacon Mike looking at over 2.5 home runs. And we will wait and see if Pete moves on the first 5 under. I've got it right here. I will ask him about it again later in the show. Pete, we move on, and I find this game fascinating. In saying that, I haven't bet it, and I don't know if I have the balls to do what I'm thinking here, but we have the Brewers at the Cardinals. Brewers 72-47, 40-20 on the road. Cardinals 61-56, 32-25 at home. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, 86 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 5 miles per hour in. Corbin Burns up against Adam Wainwright, both coming off spectacular starts. Spectacular. Corbin Burns, 8 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 15 Ks, 10-0 win at the Cubs. Wainwright goes complete shutout, 7 Ks, no walks, and 4-0 win at the Pirates. And this is a tougher matchup for each. Brewers versus righties last 30 days, 272, 800 OPS. Cardinals versus righties last 30 days, 259, 751 OPS. And the home road splits for Wainwright. Home 6-4, 2.78 ERA. Opponents hitting 214 against them. 214. Thank you, Deacon. North Ender, great to see you, my man. And Joey Harb on the over 7. So let me just give a market out to Pete and see what he does here. The Brewers go from -135 to -153. So an 18-cent move towards the Brewers. This total goes from 7.5 to 7. First 5, and with that, both bullpens are pitching good. Brewers bullpen falling back a little bit, 4.11 ERA, 1.36 whip last 30. We know they've dealt with COVID. Cardinals bullpen, 3.72 ERA, 1.17 whip. And first 5 we have here. Where are you? Here we go. Opened the over at 3.5 and -121 juiced. Now the under 3.5 is juiced. And I told TJ, I was like, what if we wait all day and all night before first pitch? We know this first 5 under is going to keep getting hit and hit and hit. Could it possibly move to 3? Could it possibly move to a very reduced 3? Because after such spectacular starts from these 2 pitchers, I wonder if they're a tiny bit vulnerable today. Pete, can't wait to hear your breakdown. Please take it away.
Yeah, that's a way that I used to look, for much of my handicapping career. Wainwright is very reliable, but that was first of all, I was all over. I know I only talk about my winners. Yes, the losers exist. I just don't talk about them. But I was all over Wainwright in that last start, St. Louis against Pittsburgh. That was a very easy assignment, right? And a guy like Wainwright, when you give him an assignment like that, is going to take full advantage. This is a tougher one. He's very reliable, but he's going to give up 2 or 3. Here, I think. Burns is off an awesome start, not a high pitch count. He can get touched once in a while, but I don't think this is the spot. My numbers like Milwaukee here, first 5, even at the huge line. My gut says that's such a dangerous thing to do, to bet against Wainwright as a huge road favorite, but my numbers do like him. And my numbers expect another strong start from Burns and Wainwright to, be reliably back down to earth for this one. So I'm leaning Milwaukee first 5. What can I tell you? And leaning St. Louis first 5 team total under as well.
Yeah, I get it. Nutflush says, you remember when Kershaw and Mad Max were in their prime, the total would be 7. He said over was getting him paid. We see a 7 right here. Let's take a look. Against Corbin Burns, 275 with an 851 OPS. They're 22 for 80. 5 of those 22 hits for home runs. Against Wainwright, 241 with a 630 OPS. Tough. Very tough. Robert
Allen says no run first inning. Milwaukee, St. Louis, best bet of the day. That definitely sounds good to me.
I do not want to back these 2 pitchers after spectacular starts. I would only want to see them get touched up a little bit, and I don't know if that's worth it. But I will be watching this very closely And if it could possibly get down to a 3, I will go over the top. 4,098 tickets in, 56% of the tickets on Milwaukee, 51% of the cash. 56% of the tickets, 51% cash. Let's look at that market move again here. So money coming in on Milwaukee and an 18-cent move towards them. It feels like it might be the spot. Then we have 62% of the tickets on the over, 79% of the cash on the over, and it's moved to 7. That tells me there will be no 3. There will be no 3. Okay, Pete, this is a spot that I'm staying off of for now. Is there anything you want to do with Brewers Cardinals?
I'm reading great comments here. Kobe Valentine's twin brother started cooking for Votto, and he's eating healthy. Those kinds of behind-the-scenes things do actually matter a lot when it comes to these guys, although, a lot of times it quickly becomes reflected in their numbers. God, leaning Milwaukee first 5, leaning St. Louis first 5 team total under. Maybe at the end of the show, I'll make those official plays, Jimmy the Bag. As of right now, they're leanings.
All right, we move up to 8:05 p.m. Eastern, and I think I probably made a mistake here in my betting. And, capping a game and betting said game, they're two different skills. And
yes.
I think I'm pretty sure I screwed up, and it was because I stayed to the steadfast rule that I've had, and that's that I don't want anything over minus 135. I don't want anything over minus 135. The Seattle Mariners at Texas Rangers, Tyler Anderson, Spencer Howard going against the opposition again 5 days later. I don't have the roof status at Globe Life Field in Arlington, but though it's not ridiculously hot, it wouldn't surprise me if they, opened the roof, although it hasn't been of late. I could have had the Mariners first 5 at minus 140. And instead, I took the Mariners first 4.5 minus a half at minus 130. And saying that out loud, I just shake my head. It was probably a mistake sticking to the rule. If that was the case, I probably should have just let it go. I do like getting 5 at-bats to the opposition's 4, but here we go. 85 Fahrenheit, humid overcast, 10 miles per hour out to left if they leave the roof open. Tyler Anderson combined with Pirates and Mariners, 5-8, 4.24 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, 97 Ks in 119 innings. His last start at home versus Rangers was very good. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks. They haven't been hitting lefties. Their numbers have improved slightly. Now 190, 581 OPS for the Rangers last 30 days versus lefties. The Mariners versus righties, 244, 723 OPS. Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Spencer Howard only went 3 innings in his last start here against these Mariners. 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 3 Ks. Both bullpens pitching well, especially this Mariners bullpen. 3.07 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. Puzzler says, I am not a believer in the Mariners. I'm not a believer in these Mariners. Let's set the table here for Pete. Full game Mariners at Texas. We have this total opening up at 9, now at 8.5. The Mariners open up at minus 148. They're now minus 135, a 13-cent move towards the Texas Rangers. Take it away, Pete. Mariners, Rangers.
I'm a little bit of a believer right now in the Rangers, not as a team, but as a scrappy team playing a lot of youngsters who is likely to be a bit undervalued in spots going forward. So, anytime the Rangers are a home dog against an opponent and a starting pitcher who are not particularly impressive, I'm leaning that way. I'm definitely leaning Texas here. Hearn is a big 6'5" guy with some control issues. But when he has his control, he should have a solid start. And I would be leaning Texas here.
Leaning towards Texas. And so is the market. Scares me. All right, let's move over to the baseball data. Against Anderson, 326, but with an 807 OPS. So they're 14 for 43. 5 of those hits for extra bases, 4 doubles, and a homer. Against Spencer Howard, 2 for 11. Very small sample size. I'm nervous. Mike M says, like Texas, Pete. Tommy Gunn says Texas and Twins could be those spoiler teams we get every season. Ooh, tough. Okay, so then let's move over to the cash here. We have... I'm nervous here. 2,698 tickets in, 79% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the Mariners, and the market moving towards the Rangers. Oh, no. 54% of the tickets on the under, 91% on cash on the under. We've seen it move from 9 to 8.5. 9 to 8.5. There you go. That's Seattle Mariners, Texas Rangers, and I think I put myself in a tricky spot. Rose on the Mariners -1.5. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean the Mariners. I mean, there's a high volatility with Hearn and a lot of unpredictability with.
You are cutting out, Pete. So I'll just continue that look here. Spencer Howard. Do I have this? Yeah, I'm nervous. All the George Gutierrez in the house. Pete, what were you saying?
I was just saying that there's high volatility and uncertainty when it comes to Hearn. He had control issues in his last start, and if that happens again here, which it easily could, he'll be behind the 8 ball. The Texans will be behind the 8 ball, and they're not the kind of team that I'd want to have money on if they're down 3 or 4 runs heading into the later innings. But in general, leaning Texas.
Hearn. I have Howard as a pitcher.
Oh, really? Wait.
So Hearn's the books have Hearn.
Yeah.
So I've screwed this up. So, interesting. I wonder if let me just move over to. I'm gonna have to bet this again.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Oh, but it doesn't have CCP. So maybe it never. Maybe I just expected it to be Howard, but maybe it always said Hearn. And I just didn't notice it. Did you ever see how? Because it doesn't have. Is there a pitcher change here? So maybe I just. Okay, so Tommy Hearn is the starter. Wow. Okay, and let me just see if there's a primary here in this spot. And Taylor Hearn. No, and the lefty. Wow, God, what a mistake. And Rodney Barton says, I was about to say, is it Hearn or Howard? Crystal Warren says it was Howard last night, but we don't have a change of pitcher here on the book, so this must have always listed as Hearn, and I guess I didn't notice it. That's a blunder. Jesus. Okay. All right. We in CT Base says I see Howard. My book says it's Hearn. Okay, so we move on here. Wow, I immediately start sweating when I'm like, oh shoot, when there's some information that's come in that I didn't know about, I just start dripping. Okay, we move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Indians at Minnesota Twins. Indians 57-60, 28-33. The Twins 53-66, 29-32. A homer at Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. 90 Fahrenheit clear, 11 miles per hour sideways in. Eli Morgan was getting his shit together and then got destroyed in his last start. The team got destroyed. He didn't. I mean, 4 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, just 1 strikeout, 17-0 loss, 6.52 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. He has been much better on the road than he has been at home this year. 7.57 ERA, 295 opponents batting average at home, just 5.14 ERA, 232 opponents batting average on the road. Going up against Bailey over 1-1, 4.53 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. His last start, 5 1/3, 6 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, no 1-0 win at home versus the White Sox. Indians last 30 days not hitting righties, 233, 689 OPS. Twins are smashing righties last 30 days, 259, 797 OPS without Nelson Cruz in the lineup. Indians bullpen last 30 days, bad, 4.77 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Twins bullpen has been improving, 4.18 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. Pete, let me give you the odds and watch you run on this spot. Cleveland, Minnesota. Minnesota opening up at -136. They're now -156. 20-cent move towards them. The total opened up at 9.5. Pinnacle has now moved it to 10. Only one other book I see has moved it to 10. Rest assured, they all will if Pinnacle does. So if your book's hanging at 9.5, you might want to attack it right now. Cleveland, Minnesota. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, I am not really a believer in Morgan right now at the moment, and probably not for the rest of his career, although you never know. You never know. I kind of like Minnesota here. Definitely like in Minnesota, the old first 5 team total over 2.5 -140. He could easily hold them to under 3, and if he does, I'll eat the loss, but I bet that one. Like in Minnesota here as well, and I noticed that I think it was one of the spreadsheet plays from Ron Crawford, so it's an endorsed play from Ron Crawford, and I think I caught a few other people as well saying that that they like it. Minnesota is not a team like Minnesota. It's like I love betting on Texas when they're plus 140 or whatever. -160 makes me nervous. So taking Minnesota as a huge favorite makes me nervous, but I did it, and I think I might give it as an official play along with the first 5 team total over 2.5 -140.
Robert Allen on Cleveland money line. Sean Thompson liking the Twins. George Gutierrez also on the Twinkies. CT Bays on Cleveland, Minnesota, first 5 under 5.5. Both pitchers about to run better lately than season numbers. No, Ober is for sure. Eli coming off getting touched here. Let's go over the baseball data. And CT Bays is sharp, so keep an eye on what he does. Twinkies haven't seen haven't seen Eli Morgan. Sorry, I keep saying Indians instead of Guardians. And then only Miles Straw has seen Bailey Ober. Very, very, very interesting spot. Let's see if the cash will illuminate anything here. Here we go. 2,509 tickets in. 64% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on the Minnesota Twins. 54% of the tickets on the over, just 15% of cash on the over. I wonder how that could be if they move it up to 10.
Wow. I don't know. I'm just scanning. It's a totally different experience doing this show, Jimmy the Bag, with all the comments scanning in front of me. CT Bays, not at this price, first 5 under. Wow. I wonder what he's seeing. Something. He didn't just pull that out of his ass. He pulled that out of his brain and a spreadsheet and a computer. That's where he pulled that. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy the Bag?
I do. I just can't sit here and think that Eli Morgan's going to follow up that rough start with a good one. I mean, of course, he'll be better. It does start now looking at the market moving towards the Twins.
And now Dom Ricci liking the first 5 under also.
Wow. I love your play on this.
And then Crystal Warren off of the game. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, okay. I guess I have a Twins lean.
First-time viewers of this show are going to be like, I thought you guys were supposed to be experts. You're just sitting here spazzing out, indecisive, don't know what you're doing, don't know what you're thinking or saying. No, I like Minnesota here. I understand if people, think that Morgan, like any major league pitcher, is going to have a possible upside. Jimmy the Bag.
I agree. Well, let's move on.
Wait, I'll give Minnesota first 5. Team total over 2.5 minus 140. Official play.
Twins.
Just in case any first-time viewer is like, this guy is like, looks like a homeless guy and acting like he's like has no idea really what he's talking about, no confidence in his opinions. I'll take it. Minnesota first 5 team total over 2.5 minus 140.
Minus 140. All right, we move on. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros, 17-48, 33-25 on the road at Kansas City Royals, 15-67, 30-30 at home at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, 83 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour, sideways, slightly out to left. Framber Valdez versus Daniel Lynch, 2 lefties on the bump. Valdez, 8-3, 3.09 ERA, 1.30 whip, 81 Ks and 84 in the third. 40 walks, though, and 7 home runs allowed. That's a nice number. Last start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 8 Ks, and a 5-1 win at home versus the Rockies. Going up against Daniel Lynch, 2-3, 5.97 ERA, 1.61 whip, 26 Ks and 31 2/3. He's allowed 4 home runs over that span. Last start at home versus the Yankees, got touched up a bit, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 walks, 6 Ks, and 8 for a win at home versus the Yankees. Astros last 30 days, forget their destroying left-handed pitching because they're hitting just 232, 681 OPS versus lefties. Royals, though, 255, 712 OPS. And that number's dropping quickly. I don't know if you guys remember, but they were smashing lefties a little over a month ago. Astros bullpen last 30 days, nice. 3.35 ERA, 1.24 whip. Royals bullpen moving in the right direction. 4.04 ERA, 1.14 whip. Here we go. Full game money lines and totals for this spot. The Astros opened up at minus 184. They're now minus 180. A 4-cent move towards the Royals. This total opening up at 10, now at 9.5. Pete, take it away.
Sorry, just the past 30 seconds, I've just been trying to do haphazard panic research on Eli Morgan. But all right, so we'll move to this. What game were we talking about? Okay, KC and Houston. Yeah, KC, another scrappy team that I'm looking to bet on in spots. And Houston, I also think, is prone to being overvalued right now. And Lynch, obviously inconsistent, but with a high upside, which is the kind of a profile that you like to see when you're looking to bet on a team as a huge underdog, especially a huge home underdog here. So, Casey's coming off the win yesterday, but I think they're a scrappy fighting team, and I don't really like the spot for them. But my numbers say that Casey should not be this big of a dog. And, if you make the line high enough, I can't not pull the trigger. So I'm definitely leaning KC here at this line.
Yeah, and it looks like the market doing the same. Let's touch on the baseball data and then look at that 4-cent move back towards the Kansas City Royals here. Here we go. The Astros have never seen Daniel Lynch. And against Framber Valdez, the Royals are 4 for 12. Now, 1 homer, 3 singles. 4 for 12 was Whit Merrifield with the home run. Now let's take a look at the cash here. KC Houston. So 3,845 tickets in. 88% of the tickets on the Astros. 69% of the cash on the Astros. And a 4-cent move towards the Royals. Very interesting. I don't have the cash numbers on the total, but I do have 59% of the tickets on the over.
People are also talking about the Houston team total under, which is also something I'm looking at as well.
5.5. Donald still says seems a bit high. It does. And Deacon Mike taking the over 2.5 home runs in Houston, KC. By the way, Deacon Mike showed me a ticket where he parlayed 4 different over 2.5 homers, and it was a huge casher. Farman,
really,
Mike,
Deacon Mike. Very impressive.
Deacon Mike. He focuses on the 2.5 home runs bet, and it's not a widely used bet, and he's really taking advantage of it. Okay, so no move for me in this Astros Royals spot. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics.
Brian Watson says Astros blow. It's a little bit of an overstatement, but I understand where you're coming from.
A's are 68 and 51, 34 and 26 on the road at the White Sox, 69 and 50, 40 and 22 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. We have Chris Bassett going up against Ronaldo Lopez. And, those of you who've been with me for a few years know that I've lost a lot of money backing Ronaldo Lopez. And to know that in the offseason he had surgery to both his corneas makes me very angry. That he was out on the mound, blind as a bat, while I was putting my hard-earned money on him. Now he's had surgery on both corneas, and he's lights out. 20 innings this year, 22 Ks, 5 walks, 1.35 ERA, 0.75 whip. They're not stretching him out. Yes, Eric Thomas, there is taint today, and we are coming up to it next game, our very next game. Taint is around. So Ronaldo Lopez allowed 1 hit and a 1-0 loss to the Twins over 3 innings. Very frustrating. 78 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour in at Guaranteed Rate Field. Bassett on the other side, coming off a great start in that 17-0 win at Cleveland. 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He has better ERA and opponent's batting average at home, but at home he's 4-3. On the road, 8-0 is Chris Bassett. 8-0. A's versus righties last 30 days, 247.33 OPS. White Sox versus righties last 30 days, 239, 754 OPS. A's bullpen being so good of late, 2.18 ERA, 1.04 whip. White Sox bullpen, okay, 3.99 ERA, 1.15 whip. Let's go over to the market and then hand it over to Pete here. Bassett, Lopez, the A's open up at minus 117. They're now minus 108. So that's a 9-cent move towards the White Sox. The total opened up at 9, now at 8.5. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, the White Sox in general are a very impressive team right now to me. Even though they've lost a bunch of games recently, I think they're probably going to be a good play on going forward. I'm not sure why you lost money with Lopez over his career. Maybe you just timed him wrong. But, he has some good stuff. He had some issues with walks for sure in his career. But he's a guy that I don't mind backing, and especially when they're doing with him what they're doing now, which is giving him, just like 3 innings or something like that instead of trying to make him go 7. But he has some, legitimately impressive stuff. Bassett, though, is the real deal. I don't really want to fade him. This is just going to be a pass for me. The bullpen for the White Sox all pitched yesterday, so that's another reason why I don't really want to take the Sox here. Bassett's off 3 straight great starts, but my numbers indicate that this will be, more of a 2 or 3 run start for him. So I guess for right now, it's just going to be a pass. Although, just for future reference, I'm definitely looking to bet on the White Sox at the beginning of every card.
Yes, and I've heard from a couple guys who are, very connected in Major League Baseball. I listened to a couple radio shows recently, and it's unanimous from them that the White Sox are the best team in the American League.
Well, yeah, I mean, getting Jimenez back and the rookie back is big, and people are talking about regression for the White Sox bullpen. Okay, but I like the arms that they have. So there's a lot to like with this team.
Let's go to baseball data here. Against Bassett, White Sox are getting 237 with a 591 OPS. Against Ronaldo Lopez, 245 with a 701 OPS. We'll go over to the cash flow in this spot. 3,341 tickets in. 70% of the money line tickets on the A's, but just 44% of the cash. 44% of the tickets on the under and 75% of the cash. And we've seen it go from 9 down to 8.5. 9 down to 8.5. Puzzler says tough game to call sides. I like the first 5 under so far. That first 5, by the way, has been sitting at 4.5 juice to the over and hasn't moved at Pinnacle. Hasn't moved. Let's see what Bet Online opened to that. Minus 110 now up to minus 122. So money coming in on that 4.5 over. I think it's very. Larry Garr says there's easier games to handicap on the card. I do think this is a tricky spot, especially with Bassett off of 3 straight, quality starts and now a second consecutive road start. All right, so no move from us there at 8:10 p.m. Now we move to 8:40 p.m. Eastern, and I'm not overthinking it. Herman Marquez at home, Rockies first 5 for me. I pulled the trigger. Not only did I got minus 120 at my book, not only did I pull the trigger, but San Diego, Colorado, full game over 12 is the taint play of the day. The taint play of the day. Padres 67-54, 27-30 on the road at the Rockies, 53-66, 39-21 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, and the wind is blowing out heavy. 91 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 13 miles per hour to right center. Matt Strom, a bullpen day for the Pods, and their bullpen's been great all year. Last 30 days, no exception, 3.14 ERA, 1.29 whip. Strom has not been used in any high leverage situations all year. He's only been up for 5 1/3 innings. And he's been touched in those 5 1/3 innings. And these Rockies smash lefties, 258, 787 OPS. Those numbers are going down. Padres versus righties, 252, 748 OPS. Marquez, 3.77 ERA, 1.18 whip. On the road, he's 3-7 with a 4.81 ERA. Opponents hitting 255 against him. At home, though, 7-2, 3.05 ERA, 199 opponents batting average. Who's going to handle the thin air and the weather blowing out better, Marquez or a string of relievers? I'm on the Rockies first 5 here at minus 120. Let's hand it over, and let's see if that's changed at all here. God, I get so scared when I look at this. And so it's still minus 120 is what you're going to get. Intertops open at minus 125, then down to minus 115, then up to minus 120. Let's go to full game before we hand it over to Pete for this Rockies-Padres spot. We have the total opening up at 12.5. Pinnacle's moved it to 12. The other book's still at 12.5. The Rockies opened up as minus 125 favorites. Now the Padres are very slight favorites. Pete, Padres, Rockies, take it away.
Yeah, as you know, Jimmy,
Okay, we just lost you here, Pete. Let me stop you as we get the internet back, which will come in just a quick second here. Padres, right. Rockies, Pete's back in action. Take it away.
I shut off the feed of comments. Jimmy the Bag, I've been pretty accurately high on Marquez for quite a while now, including it starts at home, but he might be wearing down a little bit. Even the best of them wear down, except for the absolute Adam Wainwrights of the world. I'm not as high on him. I'm not automatically high on him as I was for a long time, and I kind of like San Diego here. I agree with the over, and I'm thinking about the San Diego team total over, maybe San Diego -1. I'm not sure I love Marquez here or even like him, to be perfectly honest. Jimmy the Bag
makes me nervous. His last start was terrible. 7-0 loss to the Giants. 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 6 Ks in 4 innings. When we go into the baseball data.
Yeah, that's the kind of start that previously, in a park like that, even against a strong lineup, I'd bet on him. He'd be fine. Sometimes he'd be a big dog, no problem. I don't really like what I'm seeing from him over the past bunch of starts.
Much love to you, Nigel Lee. That makes me nervous. Against Marquez, these Padres had 252 with 740 OPS, and a great note from, who was it, in the CT base. Tatis 1 for 10 versus Marquez. That will help. It will help. Against Strom, 11 for 29, 379, 1.143 OPS. I wonder, do they have a primary here that we could focus on? Yes, Craig Stammen. So how could Craig Stammen be the primary? Isn't he the 37-year-old reliever? I find it hard to believe he could go 4+ innings here. So there we go. We looked at the baseball data. We've seen the market moves. We broke down the stats. Let's see where the cash lies here. in this spot. 2,357 tickets in. 53% of the tickets, 61% of the cash on the Padres. Then 45% of the tickets on the over. 69% of cash on the over. And we're seeing it move from 12.5 down to 12. Adam Denningman says underdogs have won 5 in a row at Coors between the Padres and the Rockies. Says, I'm on the Padres as the underdog. They are no longer the underdog, interestingly enough. But I'm sure that works with the opening line. So that works fine still. All right, there you go. Pete, are you going to add the over into your action?
Yeah, I'm just seeing my internet went out again. Okay, I'm going to take San Diego Padres full game team total over 5.5 minus 128. Jimmy the Bag. San Diego Padres full game team total over 5.5 minus 128. That's a current line at the Pinnacle. Yeah, I agree with everyone who likes the over. First 5 over, full game over. Kind of like in San Diego here. I'll make the full game team total over 5.5 minus 128 official. I'm not too high on Marquez here, Jimmy the Bag. San Diego's been sort of underachieving a little bit, but they have some great pieces, and I expect them to sort of come into their own a little bit in upcoming games and weeks. In general, that might not happen, but that's what I'm expecting. Combine that with Marquez maybe fading a little bit, according to my numbers, my eye test, all that. I'm taking it. It makes me nervous. Team total over against Marquez, but I'm switching course on him. It used to be an auto play on team total unders with him, and especially on the road against good offenses where you get high team totals. Now I'm taking the over.
Makes me very nervous. Not Flush says Rockies are playing with great intensity at home. Nobody's nervous says Marquez has been good at home. Eric Jones on Colorado minus 105. Rodney Barton says under 6-0-1 in Marquez last 7 home starts, but the total said 11 or higher. But Pete, a change of course makes me extremely uncomfortable. But we move on. 9:40 p.m. Philadelphia Phillies 61-57, 25-32 on the road at the Diamondbacks 38-81, 24-36 at home at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. By the way, CT Bay says I thought Padres would send Zatella. They're getting tight with Reds on their heels. Tight. Harold Williams coming off a great night. Giants over 4.5, Braves over 4.5, Rays over 5, Reds money line. Great job. Okay, let's move over to the pitcher. Is it being announced? Still hasn't been announced for Arizona, so no need to go deep into this game. Other than I'm not sure what to do with Kyle Gibson. He's not looked very good since coming over to the Phillies. I don't know what to do with him. 8-4 combined this year. 8-4, 2.91 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 130 innings, 105 Ks, 50 walks, 10 home runs. He's been very good. His last start at home versus the Dodgers went 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 walks, 3 Ks. Is Kyle Gibson vulnerable right now too, Pete?
I might have to look into some of his deeper peripherals to get a better sense of him. But in general, he's one of these bulldogs, mentally tough, Navy SEAL, 6'6", 250-pound types. You know what I mean? Couple bad starts, whatever. He's going to gut it out, bull through it, come in. In general, I think he's probably okay, unless he's injured. And I'll look into sometimes injuries that someone's pitching through get reflected in some of the deeper peripherals. So I have no opinion on him right now.
Very, very interesting. Sometimes it's Phillies, but at what price? And George Gutierrez planning on attacking the Phillies on the run line. We move on to 9:45 p.m. Eastern. This is 2 bets I made last night, and this morning I decided not to move on the first 5, just to stick with the full game. The first 5 totals at 4, full games at 8, and the Giants' bullpen's been so good. Mets' bullpen's been good enough. Let's get to work here. 9:45 p.m. Eastern. New York Mets 59-59, 23-36 on the road at San Francisco Giants 77-42, 41-18 at home. I took the Giants on the -1 line. I got -109. This is while the game was going on last night. Money line -150, run line +130, and I took the under 8 with Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. 61 Fahrenheit clear, 13 miles per hour out to left center, and we know that the wind swirls there, so that's not that big of a deal for me. Stroman 8-11, 2.79 ERA, 1.13 WHIP. His last start, he went 5 1/3, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 Ks, in a 4-1 win at home over the Nats in a 7-inning doubleheader. Logan Webb, man, has he been good. 6-3, 2.96 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, 90 Ks in 85 innings, 26 walks, 7 runs. His last start at home versus the Rockies was up against Marquez, and he just shut them down. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 Ks, 7-0 win. On the road, he's just an average pitcher. 2-3, 4.20 ERA, 2.47 opponent's batting average. At home, though, 4-0, 1.58 ERA. Opponents hitting 201 against them. The Mets aren't hitting righties last 30 days. Well, average is fine, 240, OPS 719. The Giants versus righties, 255, 790 OPS. Giants bullpen last 30 days, best in the league, or best whip in the league, 2.76 ERA, 0.93 whip. Mets bullpen, 3.97 ERA, 1.32 whip. So I got the Giants on that opening money line at minus 150. It's only moved 4 cents. Oh, no. This total's moving. Oh, no. And the total's moved to 8.5. Oh, God. Oh, that makes me so uncomfortable. Pete, we've lost you for a second. I imagine you'll be back. And you're back in action. Pete, take it away here. Mets, Giants, and I am concerned.
Yeah, last night was a no-brainer, big play for me on the Giants, closer than I expected, but I took it, and it's a little bit no-brainerish as well. Mets full game team total under 3.5 minus 108. You basically said it all. The Giants pen. Webb. I've had him circled as a guy that I've been looking to bet on ever since he came up. Like the spot, not going to overthink it. Mets full game team total under 3.5 minus 108.
Tommy Gunn, who knows this Mets team inside and out, is on the over 8.
Wow, really?
This has made me very, very uncomfortable, these market moves. Shit. Okay, let's talk about the batter versus pitcher here. Against Stroman, 290 with an 817 OPS. So 18 for 62, but just 6 of those hits for extra bases. Only Kevin Pillar has seen Logan Webb. Oh, man, that makes me uncomfortable. Then we go to the cash flow. Let's see if that's going to show why this move is gone against me. 3,076 tickets in. 72% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Giants. Only a 4-cent move, strange. 67% of the tickets, 90% of the cash on the under, and yet it's moving 8.5. Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't like this, Pete. I'm uncomfortable. Ugh. Okay. Shit.
People are liking the over, huh?
Yeah.
Including the market. I wonder what they're seeing. Stroman's a little bit of a wild card here. I'd love to see what Nutflush Allen expects from the Giants against Stroman, but yeah, I don't know. My numbers feel pretty confident about Webb and the pen against the Mets in this spot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm on it.
So the first 5 must have moved to 4.5. It has moved to 4.5. God, I just
really 4.5. Yeah, I'd definitely be leaning under that one. Not exactly sure what the.
Yeah, you cut out just for a second, P. We'll wait till you get back in. I can't double up here, but God, I mean, could I double up against the market move? I don't know if I have the balls for that. But had it been available for me to bet last night, for instance, I would be on it already. I would be on it confidently. And,
yeah.
Oh, look, there goes Domi. So Domi's on the full game over, but he says if the first 5 goes to 4.5, I'll go under first 5.
I also am not exactly sure what's up with why the line is so low. The Mets are, they're on the road against a legitimately great team. The Mets, have some nice pieces that I would be happy to bet in certain spots at certain value levels, but I'm liking the Giants here as well.
God, could I triple up?
And I'll take it. I'll take the Giants. Full game money line, not doing the -1 line. Just take the Giants minus 155.
Keep on the Giants. Makes me very nervous, these market moves. Okay. All right.
Minus 154. Minus 154 at Pinnacle. Sorry.
No, that's important. Minus 154 at Pinnacle. Okay. We are going to, and Donald still says Giants first 5 minus a half seems simple. And look at Domi Gun. Mets first 5 under 4.5, full game over 8. Flim flam bet. Wow, that's wild. Oh, that's so wild. I'll be keeping a very close eye on that, Domi. Okay, we move on to the final game on the card, and then we will review. Throughout the week, we'll be moving forward on CFL. I did dip my toe in for my first bet of the year. I gave it out, broke it down on Friday, and it was a very easy casher. And that's the only bet I made so far this year, because we had no season last year, and very little exhibition. So we're 1-0 in the CFL, but we'll move on to that later in the week. Pittsburgh Pirates 42-77, 18-42 on the road at LA Dodgers 73-46, 37-20 home at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. 73 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour to straightaway center. Will Crow 3-7, 5.27 ERA, 1.56 WHIP, 80 1/3, 75 Ks, 40 walks, 18 home runs. Last start, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 3 walks, 4 Ks, and a 4-0 loss at home versus the Cardinals. David Price. God, I've lost money fading David Price this year, and I don't think I'm going to make that mistake anymore. 4-1, 3.60 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Last start, he went 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 K, and 8-2 win at the Phillies. Pirates aren't hitting lefties all last 30 days, 234, 612 OPS. Dodgers versus righties, 255, 797 OPS. Pirates bullpen falling apart. 5.96 ERA, 1.57 WHIP. Dodgers bullpen getting stronger, 3.20 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. Over the last 30 days, let's give Pete a market and then watch him roll on this final game on the card at Chavez Ravine. This total opened up at 9, juice to the under. It's now juice to the over. The Dodgers opened up at minus 283. They're now minus 313. Wow. A 30-cent move towards the LA Dodgers. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, I took Pittsburgh +1 yesterday and got a push on it, but I was also big on the under. And, of course, that one cashed easily. And, I like the under again here. Not as much, I like it a little bit. It makes me nervous to give any of these picks that I only like a little bit as public plays. But, the Pittsburgh lineup is mediocre, as we know. Crow is nothing special, but okay. Dodgers are still, maybe a little bit banged up. They got some nice bats in there, but I'm liking the under again here, Jimmy the Bag.
The under again. Let's go over to baseball data here. The Dodgers haven't seen Crow. The Pirates, 13 at-bats against David Price, just 3 for 13, 231 average with 516 OPS. Let's head over to the money here. See what we are dealing with. We have 4,678 tickets in. 91% of the tickets, 99% of the cash on the Dodgers. 63% of tickets, 79% of cash on the under. The market's moving in the opposite direction. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. What's that market move? Let me just see that market move towards the under one more time. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Market move towards the over, but the cash coming on the under. Wow. So, Pete, Sean Thompson said Dodgers don't care about this game. 3-2 Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, it could get to 10, but if that happens, it's probably because, anything can happen in baseball, obviously, but it's probably because it's like an 8-2 type game. My number's like the under again.
But are you going to pull said trigger?
Sure. Why not? I'll take it. Under 9, I'm seeing minus 103 at Pinnacle. At that line, I'd have to take it. At minus 120, I probably wouldn't. But at 9, I'll take it. Dodgers, full game under, 9, minus 103.
There we go. Davidla says, what's the play on the first game with Rocks versus Yankees? We've had Kobe Valentine give out as his best bet the Red Sox in game 1. With Tanner Houck on the bump. And I think I'm going to move on the under 7. Why don't we just take one last look at that? Because that game's popping off in, 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Let's just take a look at the market on this first game and just take a quick look at the cash. Because I know, we can't take a look at the cash because that's the double dip. So too many tickets on that first game. Okay, so one last look here. The over, just a 2-cent move now on the over. So, wow. So the under was getting bet. So at 12:19, so 20 minutes ago, the under hit its highest point, became an even bet at Pinnacle with the over. So it was at minus 106. Since then, we had a huge move. 10 minutes later, a 11-cent move towards the over. Now it's come back 5 cents.
Okay. You don't want to get too wrapped up in these micro movements, especially at Pinnacle. A lot of times, big places use Pinnacle to mitigate their risk, not necessarily because they believe they're making a positive EV play,
Interesting point. No, important point. I think I'm going to move on this under 7. Let's just, and Sean Thompson says Yankee sweep. Let's just go over to money lines on this spot. So We have the Red Sox opening up at plus 115, now sitting at plus 104. Yankees opened up at minus 125, now minus 112. Do you agree with this market move towards the Red Sox? And Kobe?
In terms of my personal opinion and my numbers, I have no opinion on that. But I will take a shot with the first 5 under, 5 minus 107. I'm seeing that at Bet Online. First 5 under, 5 minus 107. I'll take it.
That makes sense to me. Dommy Gunn also on the first 5. Why would I take the full game when the Red Sox bullpen is being so bad? And we expect the Red Sox to, or there's an expectation, at least from Kobe Valentine, the Red Sox will be ahead, which would give the Yankees 7 at-bats. I think that the idea for me to have any risk on if it's Matt Barnes or anybody in that Red Sox bullpen, I think that's a mistake. So I'm going to switch that to first 5, and I'm going to move on that. We have 19 minutes till post. Okay, let's take a look at everything here and go over all of the action. Pete, you moved on the under 9.5 in Toronto, Washington. Rusty Kuntz, play of the day is on the minus 1.5, and I'm also on the Blue Jays minus 1.5. And we've seen the market move towards the Nationals, which is scary. And we saw the cash on the Nationals as well, which was shocking. And now we have 6,834 tickets in. 6,834 tickets in, and still 17% of the tickets on the Nationals, 62% of the cash on the Nationals. Fucking wild. Okay, so then 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Jose Seje play of the day, Tigers first 5 minus a half. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day on the Tigers. Then my action, Marlins first 5 plus 105. Pete moved on the Rays on the minus 1 line. And then on the 7:10 p.m. game between Cubs and Reds, we have Reds first 5 team total under 2.5 for Pete. And you weren't possibly going to move on a first 5 under, or are you going to stay off?
Yeah, I'm scanning the games right now to see what leans I want to add on here, Jimmy.
Jeffrey Blue Balls pick of the day, team total over 4.5 for the Reds. Sammy Comer on the Reds first 5 minus a half. So we move on to Brewers Cardinals, and no move for me. Mariners, I'm on the Mariners first 4.5 minus half minus 130. Market moving against me makes me very uncomfortable. Pete is on the Twins first 5 team total over 2.5. I lean towards the Twins, but I don't know if I want to pull the trigger. I'm not going to pull the trigger after the show. I'm going to spend some more time on that game. Astros Royals, no move for us. A's White Sox, no move for us. Then 8:40 p.m. Eastern, we have the Taint play today on Padres Rockies over 12 at minus 105. Pete moved on the Padres team total over 5.5 at minus 128, and I'm left alone as the lone man believing in Marquez still. First 5 minus 120. Phillies Diamondbacks, no move, and then this Giants game, market moving towards the over. And how much do I want to risk on this game? Because I'm nervous with Giants minus 1 and San Francisco under 8. My palms are dripping. Do I really want to go from 300 on this game to 450? I don't think so. But if I did, that first 5 under 4.5 is appealing. Pete is on the Giants on the money line minus 154. He's also on the full game under 9 in Pirates Dodgers minus 103. Under 9 minus 103. Is there anything else you want to add? Oh, wait, we just lost you, Pete. We just lost you, so let's give that a second and wait till you get back. Okay, you're back. Do you want to take it away?
Cubs first 5 money line plus 135. I'll take it. The Cubs are a shitty team. I don't think they're going to lose every single first 5 going forward, and I think this is going to be one where they're, as a dog, I'll take it with Hendricks starting.
Cubbies. Sorry, let me just pop this in. Very, very interesting game. Sorry, where am I missing? Sorry, too many pages of notes here. There we go. Cubbies. Pete adding the Cubs first 5. And what was the plus 130?
Plus 135, yeah.
Plus 135. There we go. Leafs fan says Jay Stardust and bats being good. Bullpen so bad, though. But no, lights out. I don't see Matt Nats scoring much. Mr. Nimbus here in the house. Nikolai Jabinski going Nats plus 4.5. Marlins plus 4.5. Orioles plus 4.5. Nikolai's been making these bets and parlaying them. He's getting a minus 115 on those 3 bets. Very, very interesting. Robbie Allen giving us a final score of 7-6 for the Cubs to win. All right, we go to the 175 likes, and we're sitting at 153. So no three $50 giveouts yet, but I will ask Slaughter to roll this $150 prize pool out for our next Tuesday show with Pete and I. Again, if we get to 175 likes, we'll give 3 commenters $50 each. $50 each. We're sitting at 154. We have big shows all week. Babano and CMAC are doing their NCAA football coverage. They're giving out their future looks in the Power 5 conferences, and then one future show in the mid conferences as well. Then they have their 4 o'clock show today. 4 o'clock show, closing line today. Then we have horse racing Wednesday with Razor Sharp Picks, Thursday with Razor Sharp Picks, and then Saturday I go all day. I get hammered on camera, and I hammer the horses as much as I possibly can. And it's huge swings, huge, violent, horrifying swings. And we have got big races. So those of you thinking about being a part of our Saturday show, remember we're going to really focus on Saratoga and Woodbine, and then we're going to move to Del Mar. We'll have lots of horses, lots of races in between. Schnizzle's best bet Rays team total over 4.5 for Cios this year. It says for Cios this year, the Rays have scored at least 5 runs, 11 out of 13 games they've played each other. Smiley won in the house. Smiley won joining us. Kevin Riley says, good to see you, Loshak. We're at 161 likes, so we didn't quite get there. But we'll ask Slaughter if we can roll it over for next Tuesday. Pete, any last words to our low bag faithful? Oh wait, we have a frozen Pete. One more frozen Pete. Okay, there he's back in business. Pete,
oh man, what a card! I got a lot of picks here. These are tight lines. Always remember that these markets are very, very tight. If it were super easy to beat these lines, then it wouldn't be that way for long. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why there's only a small edge on any line set if there is one. And don't forget, absolute time does not exist. Keep that in mind. It's all relative. It's all relative, Jimmy the Bag.
It is all relative. It is all relative. Okay, one last look there. 161. Okay, there we have it. All right, I've had 2 back-to-back bad Tuesdays, and I need to change that, and I'm really nervous right now looking at...
Yeah, it's a tough card.
Yeah.
Especially like yesterday, Tampa Bay, obvious. San Francisco, obvious. I don't even remember what else, but it's a tough card, Jim.
Tough card. Rodney Barton, I love you too. Thank you, Ken Mizrahi. There's Brooklyn Funk Project, Pete in the house.
Hell
okay, yeah. Let's get paid in full. Thank you guys so much for watching. We do have a new clip for you guys. Just a quick little. Leche, hey, those bookmakers, let's milk them motherfuckers.